Dustin De La Torre with FightHubTV.com here with Gabe Ruediger. Gabe, thanks for taking the time with us. And
Thanks for having me.
you're welcome. We got a big fight coming up this Friday in BAMMA
Yeah.
against Brandon Anderson. Talk about the fight.
It's my first fight back after a long layoff and after a loss in the UFC. It means a lot for me to get back. I had back surgery in August. This is my first fight back. BAMMA is a great organization here in my home state of California, in Southern California in particular, so my friends and family can come and watch. I'm prepared for this fight, and it's going to be a good one.
Brandon's been talking a little bit. What do you know about Brandon, and what do you think about what he's been saying?
Brandon's been talking a lot, not just a little bit. I think it's great. I think if you're spending all your time talking, you're not training, and maybe you are training, but if you can't back up what you're talking about, just shut up. And I've said multiple times when anyone brings up, oh, he's saying this, saying that, I said, okay. I just hope he comes to fight January 13th.
Last time we saw you was at UFC 126. It's been a little under a year, maybe.
Yeah, just 1 month, under a year.
Yeah. You're returning into to the cage. You had back surgery. Talk about everything and talk about how your back's healing and how it's healed, if it's completely healed, and let us know what's going on with your back.
I had a 12 millimeter herniation of my L5. I actually had the herniation going into the Joe Lazon fight. I think it was at 5 millimeters, and then after the Lazon fight, it started to get bigger. And after the Taylor fight, I went and got another MRI, and it was 12 millimeters, which is huge. I tried every other course of action. Tried yoga. I tried any type of therapy I could think of. Nothing worked, so I got surgery. I had a great surgeon, Dr. Chang, at Loma Linda, helped me out immensely. I was back to training, hitting pads in 3 weeks, and here I am, 5 months out of surgery, ready to take my first fight, and I feel good. I mean, I feel healthy. It's the first time in I don't know how long I don't have back pain. I was even prior to being in the UFC. When I fought for the title at the Tachi Palace, I was having serious back issues back then, and it was affecting my training. So now it's nice to go in and every day not have that pain, so it feels good. I'm able to do everything: wrestling, boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, conditioning. It feels good. So.
For a lot of people that don't know, when you got the call from the UFC to fight Joe Lazon, you were in extreme back pain. And what's that like, knowing that the UFC's calling, but...
Well, you know what? It was... I had won the Tachi Palace fight, and they actually called me. They said, "Oh, do you want to fight?" I think it was Rob McCullough, for your title in a month. And I was like, listen, I'm taking time off. I need some time to allow my back to heal. I'm a mess. I mean, it was spasming. I was horrible. And so I spent a month just relaxing, and I was, probably hitting pads, not doing very much. And then I got the phone call, and it was like, do you take the fight or not? And I had a long talk with my manager. It's one of those things is I had been fighting to get back in the UFC, and who knew if when the UFC calls you and they're in a bind, because Joe Lazon's opponent had pulled out. It was like with 3 weeks notice. The UFC calls you, what are you going to do? You either rise to the occasion or you don't. And I rose to the occasion for the fight, but I didn't when it came fight time, So, I mean, I'm not saying that my back injury was the reason why Joe beat me, but that was what I was dealing with when the fight happened.
So since this is your first fight back in over, we'll call it a year.
Yeah, why not? Let's call it a year.
Would you say it's one of the most important fights of your career? I mean, every fight is important, but I mean, this is the first fight since your back surgery, and you're feeling a lot better.
Yeah.
What would you characterize this fight as?
I think it's just a comeback fight. It's a resurgence fight. I can't say that it's the most important fight. I think like you said yourself, every fight is important. But I mean, am I going to say fighting Brandon Anderson's like fighting in the UFC? I'm going to say that fighting Brandon Anderson's like fighting in for the Tachi Palace title or the WC title. No, those surpass fighting some little poo butt. Now BAMMA is a great organization. I'm happy to be fighting for BAMMA, but the opponent I'm fighting, and I'm rising to the occasion, and it's good for me to. It almost feels like I'm exercising demons because I'm getting back to doing what I should have been doing, and in that respect, it's good. But as far as it being a huge fight, it's
Enter code HUB749 for a domain name discount and enter the codes below for other great discounts from GoDaddy.com.